This is a Bulldog Radio podcast.
The Ferris State Bulldogs have upset the nation's #2 ranked team. Wide open! Taylor is going to take this one to the house! Touchdown Bulldogs!
It's the MBSP Season 4, Episode 7. I'm Joe Nagy along with Brandon. We're sitting right across from me. It's homecoming on the Ferris State University campus. What a week it's been so far. So many cool events that have been going on around campus, but we got some more coming up this weekend with sports coming to town. Waldorf as well coming. We got some good teams coming for soccer, volleyball, whole bunch of stuff that we got to be working, Brandon, this week, but it's going to be a good time.
It is going to be a good time. Ferris State Sports Preview, as always, slated for this episode, as well as College Football Week 4 is going to be a banger. We'll get into some of those matchups as well as our NFL Week 3 predictions. And Joe, I'm feeling some
we did
hot
pretty bad last week,
takes.
I'm not going to lie. But we're going to
We didn't do that
We're going to
bad.
pick it up this week.
Well, undefeated, 16-0. I mean, it's possible.
Place a parlay.
Whoa, now you're talking right there. We
Whoa.
could get our tuition money paid
Yeah,
for.
I really could. If I just tossed like a 5-cent bet down on like a 16 team, whoever wins.
Did you see the dude last week?
Yeah.
25, and he pulled out on the last one. He would have been a millionaire.
Yeah.
And he still got quarter.
Yeah, he still got quarter of a mil. That's crazy.
Insane.
But we got to hop in first to a great interview with Niko LaGreca, our good buddy that works with us for athletics. He's what, Brandon?
He is the public address announcer for softball, basketball, women's basketball, and men's basketball, and then high school football. So you probably know of Niko. You probably don't know Niko, but you know his voice.
I was going to say, you've heard his voice, definitely, but he's such a cool guy to be around. He's part of the ops team. We're a part of more of the athletics and the communication staff, so it's a really cool opportunity to get to learn a little bit more of the opposite side of what goes on in athletics. But Brandon, without further ado,
Let's swing it to the interview.
now joining us in studio, Niko LaGreca, the man behind the mic for Bulldog soccer, sometimes basketball, high school football at Top Taggart Field, and a plethora of other things I'm probably forgetting.
Yeah, I do a couple things here and there.
Just a couple.
No, but the PA man on the mic, Niko, so happy to have you. And I think the biggest question that I'm sure a lot of people wonder is, how in the heck do you get into public address announcing?
Well, it's actually kind of a long and odd story, believe it or not. I got into just athletic maintenance and management at my high school. It was a small high school just outside of Detroit. We're a Catholic school, so everything is on a volunteer basis. So I'd always paint the fields, cut the grass, do everything except scheduling. And my AD comes up to me and he goes, "We don't have a PA announcer." I was like, "Oh, that sucks." He goes,
That's tough.
"That sucks." He goes, "Yeah, you're it." I'm like, "What?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?" Like, I don't, I watch sports, I watch the games. I'm like, "Well, I don't want to do it." He goes, "Too bad you're doing it." Okay. So he started me at high school football. Had no idea what I was doing, not a single clue. And he goes, "You're good at it." I was like, I don't think
Thanks.
so. Thanks.
Sure, I guess.
So I was like, okay, well, that was, I think, in my sophomore year. Freshman year, actually, a little bit of radio my freshman year.
Ooh.
And then junior year, and then eventually through senior year, I started doing all of the athletics at my school for PA. And it got to the point where I was like, oh, I could probably make a career out of this. So I actually, started looking around, like, where could I go for public address announcing? Oh, it isn't really a major for that. There was sports communication here. I was like, oh, let me do that. Come to find out, I was more interested in the management and the facility side of sports management. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just transfer. That's a different story. But I still kept PA, and I really liked it. And then I came to Ferris during the COVID years, so everything was kind of locked down. There wasn't too many people doing everything. And actually, Dr. A, she said, "You're looking for a job, right?" I guess. She's like, "Reach out to Nick Owens. Tell him your experience. What do you want to do?" So I emailed him. I don't know, I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday. Said, "I have PA experience, I have management experience, I have facilities maintenance experience." He goes, "What can I do you for?" He gets back to me, I think a day later. He goes, "Yeah, we have a basketball game tomorrow night. Can you do it?" I was like,
Whoa. Okay.
That's quick.
Okay, that was quick. Like I said, I did all the sports at my high school, but basketball really wasn't my strong suit. It's really quick if you watch the game, and you got to call stuff as you see it, and I don't know the fouls too well. But he goes, "You'll be fine." Okay. So I did basketball. He liked it. He kept me on for the rest of the season, and that turned into softball. He goes, "Can you do softball?" Well, we don't do softball a whole lot where I come from. He goes, "You're doing it." Okay. And
there's not too much of a choice.
I don't think
there's no choice.
I
Just
literally
get tossed
sounds
into
like
it, yeah.
forced beyond control at this point.
A little bit of voluntold going on there, but
yeah.
it's the opportunities just fell into my lap and I took them. That's what you hear from most people, is that just happened.
Yeah.
There was a position needed to be filled, and
Yeah, for sure.
you just fill it.
Yeah, and especially, being a part of the ops team and stuff like that, can you kind of talk about, what that's like, kind of making sure everything's set up as well for, like, these games and stuff, and then having to hop into doing PA and stuff. There's really, you're just doing everything from just set up to the middle of the game, then after taking down.
Right, yeah. So, like you said, I do everything outside of PA, too. Football, I don't do football PA. So, football, I just do operations for that. So,
Yeah.
Football really does suck because we get there, if it's a 3 o'clock game, we get there at 10 in the morning for setup.
Oh, yeah.
The Bulldog head's got to go up, all the barricades got to go up, and then during the game, it's mainly just sideline security, making sure all your ducks stay in one row.
Yeah.
It's really the biggest part. The tear down at the end, kicking people out of the stadium. I just want to go home. Please get out.
Yes.
And then when it comes time for basketball, it's because I'm doing PA for that too. So I'm doing operations and PA. So, get there, pull the bleachers out, set up the chairs, set up the courts, and then, oh yeah, by the way, you're PAing too, so go do that too. All right. And then tear down at the end.
Yeah. Sounds like a long day for sure.
It is a long day.
But yeah, I know I've had my fair share of long days as well. Probably not as many as you have on the ops side, as I'm more kind of tossed in between whoever needs me. But when it comes to, obviously, we spent a lot of time together, Niko, as doing the primary game producers. He's on the PA, I'm on the music. Yes, we are the greatest duo in Division II athletics. You cannot debate this. But as far as the game experience and being a part of it and putting really your piece to that puzzle, with bringing that experience in the entertainment as a PA announcer, what is just the best thing that you find from doing that?
So there's actually, this is cool too. I'm a 2-time nationally certified public address announcer. I'm certified through the National Association of Sport Public Address Announcers and the National Federation of High School Sports. Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I don't know if they mean anything, but I have both the certificates. So there's a book that they published, and it's called The Voice Above the Crowd. And there's a whole section of ethics in there, and the main part is you're not to take away from the game. You're not to really change the game. You're just there to call it as you see it. And I think The Voice Above the Crowd is perfect, you do play an integral part of it. You have to, remember to take your ego out of it, But I just think it's the coolest thing in the world. Like, people don't, like I said, I don't like being seen. Mm-hmm. That's the big part for me. And so basketball, it's kind of weird because they're a court level.
Yeah. You're
everyone can
front
see
stage,
you. Yeah,
scoring table. You're right there.
You
Yeah.
screw up, all the eyes are right on you. So
Yep.
that's takes some getting used to. But I think it's just fascinating that you can be such a big part of the game and no one knows who you are.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like the most about it.
Yeah, what's been, like, your favorite one to, like, be it, like, at least for, like, PA and stuff? Like, what's, like, your favorite sport to do?
So originally it was football because it's kind of slower. You're outside. But then once I started doing basketball here, it really switched to basketball.
Yeah.
You're in an indoor environment. You can control your voice so much more. And I don't know. It's just, you're all, you're tighter together. Like,
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
in-game promotions, you can choose to say, get loud and get rowdy,
Yeah.
And people start jumping and going bananas. So that's pretty cool, But I have to go with basketball. Basketball is really cool now.
Yeah. I think did I contribute to that a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you
did
Yes.
it. No, we've made some great moments for sure. But when it comes to obviously now in survey and engineering, which it sounds like you're doing a great job there and a lot of great things, so kudos to you as well. But from the time you're in sports communication, just talk about what that was like and getting a part of that, meeting a lot of the people, and being able to get an opportunity like this and be able to learn within it as well within your major.
Right. So I did transfer out of sports communication. Like I said, because I really wanted to focus on, the management side of sports.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the facilities side. And I was like, well, I like facilities. And I really boiled on to is like, I like making shapes. I like painting fields. I like painting soccer fields. I like setting up fields. I like building stuff. And I was like, well, I can actually do that. I can paint fields, lay out stuff for a living, and, I like that. So, I transferred over. I talked to Dr. A, and it's funny. I called her, I think it was on Thanksgiving break. I said, I want to transfer to survey. She's like, you might as well be an astronaut. Well, that's what I want to do. She's like, that's fine. And then every decision you make, it's good in the end, My time in sports communication, it was cool. It was all, entry-level communication courses, but you still use them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Interpersonal communications, Comm 101, journalism. I forget what else I took, but you still use them.
Yeah.
Right? And that was, and the connections I made, like my LinkedIn profile, it's hilarious. I have everyone from the sports communication on one side and then everyone in my professional career from survey on the other side, and they're still great to have. And talk about connections, it's great, Wes just moved on to North Alabama. There's a connection down there.
Yep, shout out to Wes.
Yeah, Wes Brennan. Past people here, people back home. Oh, he does PA here. Okay, well, that's cool. So,
yeah, it's cool to kind of be like that. To be able to see like those avenues, especially seeing like between the two groups of like how much there really is so much carryover in between, which is really cool. But I mean, thinking back, especially with like PA and stuff like that, there's a lot of cool games that you've been a part of, especially with basketball, a lot of rivalry games, a lot of postseason games that you've called and stuff like that. What's been the one that's kind of stuck out to you the most, like the one that's like the most memorable?
Probably the most memorable one was the guys' GV game last year when Veas played his brother.
Yes,
that was pretty slick.
Love that game.
That was a very great game. I think we just had the best crowd turnout there.
Yeah, it was almost like completely packed.
Almost full because
I
don't want to say presence, but population number was slowly increasing towards the end of the year, and that was like right at the end of the year. So that was really great. We had a lot of students there, a lot of alumni there, a lot of rivalry students there. So that was that was pretty cool. And then always, at the end of the softball season, the senior game.
Yeah.
That's always great because you get to they give you giant scripts that say, here, read them. Like 8 pages long. Oh, boy.
Do you have Cliff Notes? Yeah, please. Like, can I get a
little
bullets?
kind of
Yeah.
note card.
We're chopping trees down. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, it's great. They give it to me in PDF form. And I like all my scripts in a certain format, 12-point font, all caps, indentations. And I edit them down and it comes out to 8 pages. I'm like, oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. But that's always really cool at the end of the season, just to, again, not that you're a huge part of it, I don't want to step on any toes, but I do feel like I am a part of it. And that really is cool, just to send off the seniors before they leave. So
Absolutely. Well, Niko, one more question for you. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. As your time here at Ferris State, we love to ask all the staff, the athletes, the coaches that we bring in on the show this question. What's been your favorite thing about being at Ferris State University and being a Bulldog?
I have to say the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think it's one of our core values too. This one after another, it's just been opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. In the sports communication, it's been, you want to do PA? Sure. Okay. Opportunity there. You want to do this sport too? Okay. Done. And then in the survey program, it's, do you want a job? Yeah. Okay. Here's 5 companies that want you.
That's sick.
That is sick. It's part of why I did it too, but there's just so much opportunity here. Like if you want something, like the population here is small enough. If you want it badly enough, you'll get it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like the podcast you guys run it. It's yours.
It's facts.
And then the torts that you guys write in, that's your paper.
Facts.
It's yours. It's only yours. And I think that's just fascinating. Like, like you could go to a D1 school. You could be, I don't want to say, I guess I do want to say you could be a small fish in a big pond, and you're not really a big fish in a small pond here, but you definitely got a fighting chance here.
Yeah, it's a lot more of like an intimate group, really.
It is,
yes, 100%.
I'm not sure how it is in your comm classes, but in my classes, I'm like one of 12 students in each class.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any questions, it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
And same thing with all the professors here. There's not that many students for them to go through, so you just sit down. Hey, I got a problem. What's your problem? We'll fix it. All right.
Yeah. Can't
It's
get much
awesome.
better than that.
No.
Yeah, it's so cool, especially to see kind of just that overlap from every single, major, every single kind of concentration that students have. That's always just a related thing. It's just like Ferris gives opportunity for people. You just got to go out there and take it, which is really cool. But Niko, thank you so much for sharing your story of getting into PA and stuff like that. If you're out at a game and you see Niko, don't be afraid to go give him a shout or something like that. Tell him you heard him on the NBSP.
He's the best, y'all.
He's the best around.
Yeah, I smile
absolutely.
every now and again. Thank you guys for having me.
Big thanks to Niko LaGreca for hopping in the studio with us. Glad to hear that conversation. And Joe, really highlighting a lot of the stuff that goes behind the scenes in sports that a lot of people just don't know a lot about and that are super cool.
Yeah, it's really cool to bring that to light. And I mean, especially for us, we kind of know it a little bit, but not everybody knows what goes on during game days and stuff like that for Ferris State athletics. But we're going to hop into the Ferris State sports preview for the weekend. We're going to start with a big one. Football's back after the bye week, going to be taking on the Waldorf University Vikings. Waldorf is an NAI school, but they are 4-0 so far, and I don't think they've scored less than 40 points this season. Coming off a big 42-17 win against Dakota State, and the week before that, 54-21 against Simpson College. So they're a high-powered offense. However, we do have the best defense in Division II by a long shot. Brandon, it's going to be a good game. Going to expect maybe a shootout, but I'm expecting our defense to really step it up.
Our defense is elite, and I'm really looking forward to getting everybody back healthy again with this bye week. Obviously, maybe if you had a preference to have the bye week a little bit later in the season. But, hey, then again, you're going to take the opportunity to get healthy while you have it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do when we step out there with the ones back out there. Hopefully everybody's back healthy and ready to go. But obviously, I think we're going to have a lot of guys rotate in with this being a bye week. You're going to have a lot of fresh bodies. So, and we know Coach Anise loves to put a lot of different units and a lot of different looks out there, and on both sides, including with Coach Hodges as well for his defense. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how we kind of script this game going off of 2 weeks of prep for this Waldorf game. I mean, I think we're going to be really solid. We saw what we had with a bye week last year against I should say both times against GV, and we were able to put the hammer down. So I really like our chances, but Waldorf is a solid team. They come in undefeated, and they might give us a little bit more than we thought we could handle.
Yeah. Also, they're the Warriors. I apologize. They have a Viking helmet on their logo.
Yeah,
so
it is confusing. Yeah.
Waldorf Warriors, keep in mind. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think, especially coming out the bye week and it being homecoming, we just probably are going to be, just have a little bit of a light under us to really get going. I mean, we've been playing pretty solid. I mean, defense has just been locked down against the past couple of teams. I mean, Central Washington was a playoff team. We held them to not a lot of points. We're a little bit soft on some parts, but I think when we really got into our groove, we really settled down, and that means holding Lenore-Ryan to 5 points. I think we're going to probably do that to Waldorf as well. I'm expecting kind of a blowout from our side. It's probably going to be it's an NAI school coming against D2. So usually when the team kind of tries to take the step up, it's always not the easiest thing. But who knows? I mean, if we go into that thing and it's going to be a blowout, then we're not going to have the greatest of outcomes. So we'll see how it is. But don't expect Malik Mitchell to make the start. I think Coach Denise is going to be smart, kind of let Evan and Carson and stuff like that take over for this game. It'll be another kind of good little, not a training wheels game, but just enough to be able to get them to have more confidence in the pocket and stuff like that. They did good against Lenore-Ryan, but especially against this team, I think it's going to be pretty solid. And as well as you don't really want to rush Malik into a game too fast, especially coming off an injury like that. You want to be able to make sure that he can nurse it, especially for when we play Findlay next week. Yeah,
for sure. And I think you're going to see I think that we're going to be able to take this one for sure. Obviously, knock on wood in this homecoming game. But I think we have a lot to look forward to in this game. I would love to see us get the ground game going. That's something that we definitely take pride in as a program, and especially from the quarterback position. I mean, Carson Golker was great. He had 4.5 yards a carry last week, over 80 yards rushing, and 3 touchdowns against Lenore-Ryan. So being able to get that going, but get the running backs involved too. Obviously, it's going to go by how the game plan is fit in. But I mean, we got some really talented backs out there that could do really well with Zamir Knighton as well as Dorian. So I think we can have a good chance being able to get the ball moving on the ground a little bit. I like our chances how this offensive line has gotten a little bit better each week. And with the 2 weeks of prep right now, I'm really liking our chances on our home field to get back to it and really play well. And for Waldorf, this is the second time that they've traveled so far this season. And that was back in August 27th. was that game. So, and that was their opener. So it's been a while for them to get back on the road and to do it against the number 1 team in the nation. They're going to be up for the challenge for sure. But as far as our offense, if we can move the ball, keep the tempo going, keep the penalties down, and if we can pass rush, boy, it might be a rough time for them because Waldorf does throw the football.
I was going to say, they are a heavy throwing team. Out of their 460 yards of total offense, 370 of it was passing. So I think they're going to have a tough time, especially stopping, Caleb Murphy. You're going to have a tough time stopping Connor. You're going to have a tough time stopping Jordan. You're going to, Olalir as well. There's a lot of guys that they're going to really have to step up for that I don't know if they're going to be able to handle, especially when it comes to the blitz and stuff like that. And then you got Sydney, who's going to be able to lock down a lot of their, Sydney, Alex, and stuff like that, who are going to be able to lock down a lot of their receivers. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do. I'm really excited to see, if they're going to be able to put up a big challenge for us. But I think it's going to be solid, especially we haven't really faced a very big passing team yet this season. Especially against the North Line, it was pouring rain. And then the week before that, Central Washington was kind of more of a running running offense. So it's going to be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be a good test, especially for this homecoming and coming off the bye week.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be fun. A lot of festivities planned. 3 o'clock kickoff at Top Taggart Field. Me and Joe will be there early for sure, getting everything prepped and ready to go. A lot of great things planned for the game overall. Got to look at the script. It's going to be fun. A lot of cool things going on. So, and then there's a parade beforehand. If you're in town, you can check that out. That'll probably be pretty cool to see around campus. So it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a great game. Being back at home after it feels like so long. It's almost been a month since we've been back home, Joe. It feels like forever since that.
It's a while, man.
Since that first game against Central Washington. But it's going to be super cool, and I'm really looking forward to seeing us put together a really solid performance. I'll make a bold prediction for this game. I think Oladipo gets 2 sacks in this game. I think they're going to be so heavy on Caleb. I think Oladipo's going to have a heyday, and I think he's going to pick up 2 at least.
Another hot take, him and Jordan are going to have 2 sacks.
Whoa, 4 sacks?
I think you could see, you're definitely going to see, I think, the defensive player of the week go to somebody from Ferris. I think it's just really who's it going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be my prediction.
Okay. Offensive prediction?
I don't know. Maybe it'll be who does Grand Valley play this week?
Don't remember off the top of my head.
Because if it's somebody that's not super good, it's probably going to be their quarterback.
Oh, Caden Peterson, probably.
Yeah.
I would say for us, I would love to see, I think, a running back getting in the end zone. I think that's my hot take because I actually believe, if I remember correctly, we have not done that this year. That a running back has not gotten into the end zone this year, which is isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah, it is weird.
I don't believe
they play Wayne State, so
not great for
so probably
Wayne
gonna
State, but
probably gonna have that go down.
But yeah, I don't believe. No, we don't have a running back that's gotten in the end zone. The only non-quarterback touchdown rushing was Marcus Taylor.
Dang, that's crazy.
We do not have a running back that's found in the end zone. I think a running back will find the end zone in this game, and
I think so too.
Oladipo gets 2 sacks.
Smart.
Could you imagine Murphy, Jordan Jones, and Oladipo give 2 sacks each in this game?
That's crazy.
You're going to be like, man, these guys in the NVSP, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
man.
exactly, man.
And you're going to hit that subscribe button, the follow button, because you're like, I want the inside analysis on everything.
It's nothing to it, really. But GLIAC?
Scoreboard.
He was playing around the GLIAC scoreboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on Saturday, Saginaw Valley is going to be taking on Michigan Tech at 1 p.m. up in Houghton. I always say Houghton or Houghton.
Houghton?
Whatever it is.
Houghton.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. I have to drill that in my mind.
The place up very, very north.
Saginaw Valley and Michigan Tech are going to be taking on each other in their first non-conference matchup. They'll meet up when it comes down to it later on in the season. Post University is going to be taking on Northern Michigan at 2 o'clock at Northern Michigan for their homecoming game. Northwood is going to be making a quick little return, I guess, to the GLIAC to take on Davenport at 2 o'clock. And Grand Valley State's going to be taking on Wayne State, like we said, at Lubbers Stadium. So going to be a good little weekend for sports. Can't wait. In Detroit. I apologize.
Okay, there you go. You can find out all those scores on the GLIAC scoreboard at GLIAC.com, as well as all the information for our games.
It's going to be sick.
Bulldogs.com. So going to be fun. Not only is football home, women's soccer is home this weekend, taking on is that correct? Purdue Northwest this weekend? Tomorrow?
Yeah, Purdue Northwest and
Purdue
Wisconsin
Northwest.
Parkside.
Yes.
Alumni Appreciation Day tomorrow.
For sure. Going to be fun. If you're an alum, make your way over to the soccer field.
Well,
4 o'clock
Thursday,
start.
It's Thursday today while we record that. So
Yeah,
that's
so
why I
it'd be
say
today.
tomorrow.
Would be today. You're right, Joe. Thank you for pointing that out. I knew to make that episode
It is
or mess up last episode too.
3:07 p.m. 9/22/2022 today.
Yes.
As we record this.
Yes, it's a long process to get these episodes out,
Really
but
is.
we make sure to get them out early enough so you guys can listen to them before the epicness going on. So you
Mhm.
will be hearing this before the game, and you will get the preview. Purdue Northwest, Wisconsin Parkside. I mean, we're riding off our big win against the Huskies, especially at their place. Very long trip. And I think this is really kind of where we can start making our mark a little bit. We got 2 big games. Then we'll have Senior Day, Parents Weekend on Sunday. I'll probably be there for that game against Parkside. I won't be there tomorrow. Joe probably will be there tomorrow in my place. I got to call a high school football game a little ways away. But going to be a really good game, I think, for this women's team. We've had a little bit of bumps in the road so far this season, left a couple points on the board. And I think that we can play with anybody, anywhere, anytime. We've proven that, and we just got to play it all for 90 minutes. That's really the biggest thing is we're now starting to get, defensively, we've been very much improved since the start of the year, and we've definitely made strides offensively, being able to score in the net. But we just got to keep it going and just really keep on churning upward and keep improving, because those are the biggest things going through this season. Because now we're going to, like I said on last show on Tuesday or Wednesday, that we have done a great job of being able to throw different looks at these teams. But now we're going to have to throw new looks at them again, because we're going to be playing them twice around the turn, because we got Saginaw and Northwood, and then the whole GLIAC conference schedule gets flipped back. We're going to go round 2 against a lot of these teams now, even at their place. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think our offense can, like we said on Tuesdays, that we think we're offensively in advantage against these 2 teams. I think we faced a lot better defensive teams so far earlier this year, like Davenport, Grand Valley State. Ashland was a good one to face. But now we're starting to get against these teams that are a little bit more offensive heavy, and that leaves us opportunities to score. Getting so excited because I think they're going to do so well this weekend, and I think we're going to net a lot of goals. At least we hope.
A lot of goals. Purdue Northwest is coming into this game winless so far and off a fresh little 8-0 loss to Grand Valley. So maybe they're ready to go. Who knows? I mean, it's not the greatest looks for. They've only scored 2 goals so far against GLIAC opponents. So they've been outscored. What is that? 16-2 so far in 4 games. So you can definitely tell that maybe some offense is going to be scoring on Friday for the Bulldogs, and then Wisconsin Parkside as well has kind of the lower part of the GLIAC standings. They're 1-3 so far in the GLIAC, and they haven't really been playing super great, especially on the defensive side. But against GLIAC opponents, they've only beat Michigan Tech. So
yeah, they do. They do have, I think, the leading goaltender in the GLIAC saves-wise, but they've also given up the most shots against, right?
I mean, in 4 games, she's had 19 shots on goal that she's had to face.
Yes, exactly.
Or at least, well, she's let in 19, but I mean,
so yeah,
if you go by that much, I mean, I'm guessing there's been a lot more that she's had to save.
Yeah. So don't let that fool you.
You can definitely say that there's going to be a lot of goals or a lot of shots on net.
Yes, a lot of shots on net,
Parkside.
And that's really what we've needed. Like we've really played well defensively.
Struggled a little bit with that.
There's a couple times where we've just given up a couple, like especially the Davenport game and the especially at the in the Ashland game where we were playing very well. We just couldn't get it to the net. Attacking third, and that's what we saw a lot of great success with previous year's teams that led us to a lot of conference championships. So we've got to make sure we put the pedal down. We get a really good game plan going in the offensive third. I trust Coach Henson's going to do that, and I think we're going to really find a spark and be able to put a lot in the net this weekend. And I think we're going to get back on track here and face some good Saginaw and Northwood clubs, and then go to the second round and start getting some doubles on doubles on doubles and points on points on points, and standings start climbing just a little bit.
Get it going.
It's going to be
right
fun.
now, Northern's kind of killing it right now. They're only 7-1.
They look very good.
Looking pretty scary,
yeah,
if you ask me. And then Grand Valley, Davenport, Ferris, Saginaw, Michigan Tech, Parkside, and Purdue Northwest, respectively.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Northern and Grand Valley are due to face off against each other, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me do a quick little check of the schedule here.
Within the next couple weeks.
They take on, 1 second.
For the ladies, I guess the ladies soccer GLIAC
They actually
scoreboard.
take each other on tomorrow.
Yes, there it is. So that's a big game as far as conference standings is concerned. So we'll certainly be following along with that game.
GV's probably going to take that one, seeing that it's at GV.
Yeah, it's hard to play. It's hard to play out there.
Yeah, and GV's got GV's got a sick field. I'm not even gonna lie. They got sick.
They got good facilities for sure. Michigan Tech will also take on Davenport. That might be actually a pretty good game over there in Caledonia. And then Parkside faces off against Saginaw before traveling to face us on Sunday. And then Tech plays Grand Valley, Purdue, Northwest Saginaw, Parkside against us, and then Northern will finish up against Davenport to wrap up the weekend. So there you go, GLIAC women's soccer scoreboard. Just for all of those fans out there that want to know who they're playing, there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
So volleyball time.
Volleyball time indeed, Joe. A lot on deck this weekend. I'm going to be on the road, not too far away.
Last little road stand before a quick little stop back at home next week.
Yeah, so I'm going to be traveling to Davenport today, technically.
They're on their
23rd.
way right now, most likely.
Most likely, yep. So going to Caledonia to face the
7
Panthers.
o'clock.
7 o'clock will be the start for this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing us keep it rolling here. I mean, we've done really well offensively. Yeah, keep the train rolling. I think we've used that title in an episode before, but it reigns true with a lot of what this team has done so far. We've improved each and every game, offensively and defensively, just cleaning up the details, no errors, and good setups, and this team's on their way. We've been doing a great job of getting service aces. We've done a great job of really stopping a lot of opposing attacks, especially up front. So I think we're going to be in good shape there. And, I mean, Davenport and Saginaw are two gettable games for sure on the road, especially taking out some tough teams up north over the last weekend, getting that rejuvenation, getting that rest, and getting a week's worth of game plan. Obviously, talking to Keelan Matt on the last episode, you can check that interview out in the feed below. And they're just ready to go. It's just crazy to me how locked in that team is. 24/7, and it's incredible, and that's why they've been so successful for so many years. So it's definitely going to be fun to see them succeed hopefully this weekend, and I think they're going to keep it rolling and just keep this road I can't say the word, you know what I'm going to say, Joe, but I'm not going to say it because of course that's not the way they operate. Right?
Don't do it.
I'm not going to say it.
No,
it's one game at a time. We're going to beat and then we're going to beat
However,
them. And then we're going to beat
say this, Ferris State right now 5-0 in the GLIAC. And the two teams that we got to be playing, they're a little bit middle of the road. Saginaw Valley's 4-1, Davenport's 3-2.
Right.
So two very solid teams.
Gettable games.
Especially on the road. They're going to be tough games, but I think we're going to be doing pretty solid. But yeah, I don't really want to say anything about the S word.
Nope. We don't mention that word. In
don't mention that one about volleyball.
Nope. One game at a time, one set at a time,
just
one
know.
play at a time. That's all you got to do.
Just going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one for sure.
Next week's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Next week's going to be good games. I do stats.
Yes, Joe's going to be doing stats. I wish I'd be there. I'll be, unfortunately, on a bus to Kentucky next weekend. But we'll cover all that cross-country stuff out next week as well. But Davenport's got some talented players as well. I think it's Haley Krieger is second in the league in kills right now. And I think Thompson for Saginaw Valley is also up on that list. So they do have some offensive firepower, but I think defensively we show we can compete with anybody in the GLIAC, and I think we have the most all-around best team in the GLIAC, and I think we can take care of business.
We did have a clean little sweep of
I hope
GLIAC
so.
Players of the Week.
Yeah, we did last week. That was cool. Nowicki, Bila, and Matt. And I think hopefully we can get some more on that list every week and just keep showing how good this team really is. So, Friday night, 7 o'clock at Davenport, followed up Saturday against Saginaw Valley. And that will wrap up the weekend for volleyball. No triple header this time, Joe. Apparently they might have listened to the episode, the GLIAC scheduling crew. And they decided, that is kind of dumb. So only 2 games this weekend for the ladies, and we wish them the best of luck. But finally, wrapping up the Ferris State Sports Report, women's golf is at home this weekend.
Hey-o.
Did you hear this, Joe? They're at Khaki
I did hear that.
for the Bulldog Fall Invitational. So you can go out to Khaki, watch the women's golf team perform very well on their home course, as well as tennis will be traveling to Allendale for the ITA Midwest Regional Championships. Saw a lot of good things from the men, and looking forward to seeing the women follow suit. And I think also women's golf goes to Allendale as well, like later on after the tournament at home this weekend, like on Monday and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So very interesting on that schedule, but we wish them the best of luck. And that's going to be pretty much about it as far as scheduled sporting events go. One final thing before we go, I want to say thanks to the Janes family. We heard that Coach Janes was announced her resignation from the softball program, and we thank them for all the time that they've devoted over the last couple years. They're taking an opportunity going to Cincinnati, Ohio, from what I've heard. So we wish them the best of luck on the travels.
Beautiful town, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I've driven through there a couple times.
Yeah, I heard a lot of Bengals fans there. It would make sense.
Yeah, because they're in Cincinnati. So
thanks for pointing that out, Joe.
It's right on a river. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that
was on a
actually.
river.
Yeah, Cincinnati Skyline Chili. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really good right now.
Man.
I only had lunch an hour ago. Now I'm still hungry. But thank you to them and all that they've done for the program. Coach Cab will be taking over for this upcoming year, most likely, and we wish them the best of luck as softball certainly has a lot of talent this year, and we look forward to seeing what they can do as they wrap up the fall season. But that's going to do it for the Ferris State Sports Report. When we come back, me and Joe got some college and NFL picks to make, and trust me, there's going to be ones you don't agree with. Stay tuned.
College football now for us boys here in the NVSP. Big Ten starting up some conference play. Some of them aren't, some of them are. But overall college football conference play is starting up. So we're going to kind of focus a little bit on the Big Ten, seeing that's kind of more close to home. Brandon, there's some pretty good games. Not too many that I don't think are going to be like upsets or anything like that. But I still think some good games are going to be going on. I think Minnesota is going to be taking on Michigan State and East Lansing. That one's going to be a good game. Rutgers is looking better than usual. I think they could disrupt a little bit of stuff going on in Iowa as well. And Wisconsin versus Ohio State is going to be the talk of the town, I think, so far for Big Ten-wise. But, Brandon, it's going to be a pretty solid look around for Big Ten football. What do you think? Yeah,
I think it's going to be fun for sure. And it actually starts out technically yesterday when this episode comes out, because Illinois playing Chattanooga in Champaign was the Thursday night game of the week. To start out for them. But, yeah, Saturday's going to be fun. I mean, Michigan going to be taking on Maryland to start it all off at noon. And I think Michigan's going to roll in that one for sure. Tua's little brother, Talia Tagovailoa, has played very well, though, for Maryland. So, obviously, going to be looking to see what they do offensively. They like to throw the football, and they like to use their skill positions all the time and all the time and all the time. So, there's certainly going to be a lot on display for them. But Michigan is riding a lot of great things going right now with JJ. Blake Corum with 5 TD performance. That defense looks so good. I'm really looking forward to seeing them roll. I think the lines right now put at 17. I could see definitely higher, but I'm not going to predict that because usually when I do that, it goes bad whenever I take the heavy favorite. But I think Michigan can roll this one by 3 scores. I mean, Maryland has looked better than years past, so I will not be surprised if it is closer than that. But at Ann Arbor, I'm going to like the Wolverines, and I think we're going to say go blue a long time in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for that game, especially seeing that it's going to be a good little test for the Michigan defense, I think, seeing that Talia's, mirrors his brother, Tua, in a lot of ways, and I haven't really been seeing too much at Maryland anyways, but I know that their receiving core is, pretty good, I think. I could be wrong.
Solid, yeah.
I could be, pulling that out of thin air or whatever, but I think it's going to be a good test, especially seeing that, defense is really picking up past these last couple of games, but, it was UConn, Colorado State, and Hawaii, teams that did not really have too good of an offensive line. And for this team, we're going to really have a good scrambling quarterback if the pocket does collapse. Talia's got that movement under him, and especially that's going to be a good little test for the defense. But I'm more excited to see what J.J. McCarthy's going to do. He does have the highest QBR out of all the Power 5 quarterbacks from what I've seen. So it's going to be a good game, especially seeing that he's going to get to start from basically the foreseeable future. But it's going to be a good one, especially seeing that, I'm looking for a breakout game out of J.J. Going to see some from Ronnie Bell, see a little bit of rushing and stuff like that. It's going to be a good all-around one, especially being in Ann Arbor. It's a big noon kickoff, but dude, here's the thing. Why is there never, night games at Ann Arbor? Why is it always, noon and 3 o'clock?
I would love to attend a night game at the Big House.
That'd be sick.
I've attended a couple day games, but not night games. You remember the Washington game when we hosted at home? My gracious. I wish I was there. Need more night games at the Big House. That's all we need to know. But anyway, also at noon, CMU, Central Michigan, our neighbors over in Mount Pleasant, they're going to be traveling to University Park, to good old Beaver Stadium, take on the Nittany Lions of Penn State, ranked 14th. I think Penn State's going to probably win this one. I think CMU is showing a lot of promise, though, so far this year. I think that offensively they've done a great job. They really did a great job hanging points on Oklahoma State in that Week 1 game. Defensively, got to work on some stuff, and that might be where they struggled, trying to get guys like Noah Singletary on the ground, or Singleton, on the ground. I think they might struggle with that. I think Penn State's going to win this one. I think it might be surprisingly closer, though. Coach McElwain's crew always seems to play well in those bigger games, so I'm going to take the Nittany Lions. I think the Lions right now at 28, I could see probably 21-24.
Yeah,
not score. Excuse me, they win by 21 or 24. I would say 17-24, somewhere in there. But a lot closer than 28, the line is at, right? But the Lions have just been ridiculous lately.
Yeah,
so
they've been playing real solid. And I mean, Central Michigan, when you look at their schedule so far, they've opened the season against Oklahoma State, couldn't get the upset down in there, 44-58. Their offense looks to be pretty solid, especially with scoring. But when they've played teams like South Alabama, Bucknell, and stuff, they've at least with Bucknell, they played pretty well. But with South Alabama, they didn't play really solid, only scoring 24 points and losing that game. And Penn State is pretty scary, especially when it comes to playing at University Park, because that place is just loud,
rocking, whiteout for sure.
Rocking, it'll just get loud, like everything with that going on. But you could see an upset, maybe.
Ooh,
but, I don't know. CMU just kind of seeing what they have not really been good, ever. So, when's the last time they were actually top of their what are they in the MAC?
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time they won that?
Years and years ago.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah, and Penn State.
More recent than I thought it was, but I think it's still been a little ways.
But Google search, shall we?
Yeah, but still, they have been a good team. They got close a year or two ago. They were either second or third, I want to say. But I mean, they've been in contention year after year for sure. For the most part, obviously, when they started going downhill and they made the coaching changes a little different, but. I think you still see a lot of fun things out of this game. I think you're going to see a lot of big plays. These two teams have a lot of playmakers, so I think it's going to be pretty fun. I want to say, what was the year that it was?
I'm trying to look still. It's being hot. It's going to be a hot sec.
Okay, I'll keep stalling. Anyway,
last time they won it was in 2009.
That sounds right. I knew it was in the 2000s, but
nice and easy. 13 years since they last won it.
Yikes, yeah. But they got close, I want to say.
They almost won in 2019.
Yes, that is the year I think I remember.
To Miami.
Yeah, that's right. Because I think it came down to one of those late games when they played Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely would have been a huge, huge win for that program. But anyway, looking forward to seeing that game. Minnesota and Michigan State facing off at Sparty Stadium in East Lansing. Get this, Joe. The Golden Gophers, the favorites.
Really?
On the road to beat me, formerly number 11/14th ranked Spartans. Whoa.
Honestly, I see it. Because they went in and played, here's the thing, they went in and played Washington, who was unranked.
Yeah.
And, they had Michael Penix, but, they didn't play very well. They played kind of garbage. So it kind of makes sense. However, I think when you're talking about East Lansing and stuff like that, just the effect that has on that team, I feel like you can't really do that, especially seeing that, Michigan State is probably just going to step it up there. But, man, I don't know who does Minnesota even have? I haven't even looked at.
They have a really good running back, Ibrahim. Have you seen him? He's been really good. Mohamed Ibrahim.
Well, then, they have a good rushing defense. That's the thing. Penix just threw all over them. That's all they had to do.
Yeah, they were just really could not keep up with that tempo. They looked almost more tired, I want to say.
I think
they were out of position so many times.
I think if Minnesota just kind of steps that up and just gets the tempo going early and just barreling down just right down your throat and just don't give them any time to breathe, then I think that's what's going to put Michigan State on their heels a little bit. But still, I don't know. I don't think you can really say it. Especially really anywhere in the Big Ten, when it's a home game, you can't really predict the upset for the road team unless it's a Michigan or Ohio State or something like that, or a Penn State.
Yeah, which even normally is hard to do enough.
Yeah, which is hard to do anyways. But it's because you think about it. I mean, last year Purdue wasn't super great. Hosted Michigan State when they were, 5th, 4th? Big upset. I mean, Ohio State came to the big house. They lost. Yep. And they were slated to win that one. They lost huge. And, every time in the Big Ten, most of the time, you're not going to get a chance. Most of the time, even if it's a lower-ranked team or a high-ranked team, there's not really going to be a whole lot of upsets on the road.
Yeah, that is true. Some other games here in the Big Ten. Indiana will be traveling to Cincinnati, Ohio, to take on the Bearcats. I think Cincinnati was in prime position for that one. Indiana's going to put up a pretty good fight, though, at 3-0 on the season. Some of the teams obviously weren't as talented that they beat, but they're still a pretty solid program, and they think they got a lot of good things going.
They ain't half bad.
Yeah, they're not half bad. So I still like the Bearcats in this one. Because they're gonna. I think Cincinnati's still not gonna be. I mean, obviously they lost Ritter, they lost Sauce, they lost a lot of their firepower from last year. I don't think they're gonna drop as far as people think they are. I think they're still gonna be a good team, but I think they're gonna win this one as well. Iowa and Rutgers gonna be an interesting game. Iowa favored by a touchdown in New Jersey, but Joe, your boy Spencer Petras right now hasn't played the best so far this season. I believe his total season stats, 37 of 77, 376 and a touchdown. But obviously that team likes to be very, very patient. They like to be gritty, physical, slow game. So that's understandable. But, offensively, they got to play better because last week was no excuse. They really need to buckle up and get her moving again. After losing that game to Ohio State, they played much better against Nevada, or I should say 2 weeks ago against Iowa State, the game I was referencing. But still, against South Dakota State, they only scored 7, and then Iowa State 7. They got it again against Nevada. Now they got to do it at Rutgers, and then they got to let it roll because they're going to be facing Michigan coming up soon, and they're going to need offense to beat that team. I can promise you that.
Yeah. Iowa right now, I could honestly see Rutgers pulling off the, upset in quotation marks because, these two teams aren't really good, I'd say. Iowa especially has just been kind of like a dumpster fire so far and very, disappointing seeing that, they couldn't score a touchdown against an FBS team. An FCS team, I apologize. And then they couldn't even beat Iowa State, who is a good team, but, still, you should be able to at least put more than one touchdown on them. But when you look at that, Iowa's 1-1 right now. Rutgers is, 6th in the Big Ten East? Something like that. I think they're last, but they're still 2-1. No, 3-0. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-0. They haven't played the best teams or anything like that, but they won against Boston College in a little bit of a thriller. They rolled Wagner, who I'm pretty sure is an FCS team.
Probably. I've never even heard of Wagner, to be honest.
Neither have I. And then they barely beat Temple 16-14, which is not the greatest looks, but obviously, especially coming for this game, they got to kind of come up pretty well because they got Rutgers coming up. They got Ohio State coming up after. So hopefully they can probably get a win here. I'm going to go Rutgers because Iowa has just not been playing very solidly, especially these past couple of weeks. They just have not been that classic Iowa team that we've seen, but Rutgers, I think, is going to come out with something.
Yeah, this should be interesting. Final couple games. Purdue hosts Florida Atlantic, although the Boilermakers haven't started as well. They're big favorites in this game for a reason. I think they're going to win. And West Lafayette. Miami of Ohio is taking on Northwestern at Ryan Field. I might actually pick Miami in this game, believe it or not. They have had a little bit of a rough start. But they've played really good teams to start the year. Kentucky, who was ranked, and then the Cincinnati Bearcats. So I think that they have that grittiness to go in and beat Northwestern on the road, but it'll be really on what Northwestern plays. And then obviously the last game, Ohio State against Wisconsin. Just for my rant earlier last week, I want to take the Badgers by 7 touchdowns in this one to beat the ever so enthusiastic and unreasonable Badgers fans.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's probably gonna win that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
Where's College Game Day at this week?
I haven't heard that actually yet. We might have to take a look at that, but I think there's a lot of good. No, it's where it's coming. It's coming to Big Rapids for the Grand Valley.
A few weeks, but I'm talking about this week.
We need to start this trend, ladies and gentlemen. We need to bring College Game Day to potentially the number 1, number 2 showdown of Ferris State, Grand Valley State, Anchor Bone at Top
Tiger. We're gonna be in Knoxville this week.
Oh, Tennessee, Florida. Duh. Yeah, that makes sense. That's gonna be a good game.
You gotta tweet it out. Tweet out to College Game Day. Get that trending because that'll be
get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. But anyway, wrap up the show. We got some pick predictions, Joan, to make for
NFL,
the NFL,
baby.
So we're gonna get out the old notepad and count them up right now. I think, Joe, if I remember, I might have got last week. You're gonna have to double check me though. on a couple of those games. So we'll get the tallies for you momentarily for our production team, a.k.a. Joe, once he finds his pencil. But
it was on the floor.
Yeah, we got it. But it's going to be some good games in this one for sure, especially to start week 3. And obviously we'll pick the Thursday night game, even though it is going to be released on Friday. But you can promise with the timestamp of 3:34 p.m. of September 22nd, 2022 right now, and plus probably one of us will probably pick the loser. So why would we pick the loser after the game already happens? That would be kind of silly, Joe. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that's true. I'm going through it right now. So
yeah,
we're looking sort of good right now, I guess. Not the best, but not the worst.
Not the best, and the reason is because the Colts just stink.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
That's true.
Maybe they'll get it together against the Chiefs this week. I don't know. So we'll get to that game here in a minute. But the first game on deck, Thursday Night Football, we'll go through these quickly here, about a minute and a half each. Steelers going to be traveling to Cleveland to face the Browns. The Browns obviously choking out of last game against the Jets in crazy fashion. But I think they get it done this week against the Steelers. I'm going to go with the Browns in this one. Believe it or not, they're 0-2 in their last games against Pittsburgh, including the 2021 late October game they lost in heartbreaking fashion. But I think they get it done, though. I think that the offense right now has been moving pretty well so far, even though Jacoby Brissett was a question mark going into the season. The Steelers haven't been playing the greatest, to be honest. So I'm going to take Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt in that running game. And I think the Steelers, they need to get guys healthy. And frankly, Trubisky playing worse 100% than Jacoby Brissett right now.
I was going to say that as well. I mean, Steelers, when they don't have their defense is definitely getting depleted a little bit, which is not the greatest look for them. But, especially with just how the Browns offense is kind of set up a little bit, I think that they're going to not run away with it, but take this one probably pretty handily, probably by like a touchdown or two, maybe a touchdown and a field goal. It's not going to be crazy out of reach, but it's going to be something where it's still going to be a little bit of a like a little wrench in the system, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. So you're going to pick the Browns as well then?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so we got Browns picks. Oh, scores, of course. I'm going to go low-scoring game. This is going to be low. All defense. 21-17 makes the most sense. Yeah, it's bland, but whatever.
10-17 is what I'm saying.
Okay, 17-10. There you go. That's even lower. Anyway, Sunday, Chiefs at Colts. And I'll tell you what, Joe, I'm sticking away from the horseshoe for now. They don't look good. And the other team, on the other hand, that's traveling there is looking very good in Kansas City. I think the Chiefs are going to roll in this one. As much as they would be a great comeback story for the Colts, their offense has been so staggeringly bad so far. And that's what is really frightening me with this team. So until I see otherwise, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. But don't be surprised if something crazy happens and you pull the cat out of the hat. And somehow maybe Indianapolis wins this one. But they need to really get Michael Pittman back ASAP. We talked about that on the fantasy
it's still questionable if he's going to be back. And I honestly, I wouldn't even rush him, because if you're going to play the Chiefs, like, you really don't have too much of a chance to win it, even if you do have Michael Pittman, because they just have the firepower. But Chiefs will probably roll this one, 27-10, I'd say. Is probably what it's going to be.
Okay.
But the picks are in.
Yes, the picks are in.
If you want to toss on your score real quick for this Chiefs-Colts game?
Yes, 31-21. Chiefs.
Solid 10. All right, NFL picks for week 2. I went 8 for 16. Brandon.
Oh, boy.
You went 10 for 16.
Yay!
So Brandon tied it up.
It's won 1-1.
It's 1-1 on the weekend picks, which is pretty sick.
Okay.
Brandon with the winner there. That one was a little bit tough for me, but hey, there's a lot of games where I thought it was going to be chalk, but then it wasn't. Teams kind of came up out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting the Bucs to win. I wasn't expecting the Patriots to win for sure, but it's going to be something else, especially for this upcoming week. But so far, for our week picks, or for our week 3 picks, we've been looking pretty good.
There we go. Anyway, back to week 3. Texans at the Bears. Joe, you want honors in this one?
This one's tough, actually. I was about to say, I'll probably go Bears with this one, seeing that I don't know, where's it at? Is it at Texans?
That's Soldier Field.
It's at Soldier Field. Okay,
yep.
Well, the Soldier Field fans probably hate Justin Fields right now, not going to lie. But I'd say they're probably going to win that one. Unless it's a monsoon, then probably Texans have no chance to win that, but it's going to be close. I'd say it's probably going to be like a 21-17 type game, where it's going to be about one score or something like that. But yeah, I'd say probably Bears in this one, just because Texans, they weren't looking super great. Yeah, they beat the Colts, but still, you're coming off of that. You're playing a little bit better of a Bears team that's not as depleted as the Colts were at the time, who weren't really in so much of a scramble. So I think that the Bears are going to take this one.
Okay, I did say I was crazy, and here's where it comes. I'm going with the Houston Texans in this game, believe it or not, to get their first win against NFC opponents. In their last 6 games, they're 0-for-6, Joe, and they've been playing awful in the fourth quarter in those games. But this is the problem for this Chicago offense. They have a lot of talent, and on paper, this team is way better than Houston. The problem is getting them the ball has been hard. Justin Fields has been the leading quarterback in the league for highest percent of passes that are off target this year, 28.6%, which is higher than Trey Lance, Cooper Rush, and Baker Mayfield, who are all at or below 25. So I think right now, until that problem gets fixed and they throw the football more efficiently, I think David Montgomery might get stuffed a little bit against that Texans front. Dameon Pierce could run over Chicago's D-line. I think they're going to win a close one. I'm going to go 17-16 in an absolute nail-biter that the Texans will take down the Bears at Soldier Field. So there you go. What a game that's going to be. Next game on deck we got, this is a doozy, actually. This might be very interesting. Saints at Panthers. Might not be the game of the week, but both teams look so
middle
interesting.
Of the road.
Yeah, middle of the road. It might go either way in this one.
This one is something else. I'd say Saints are probably, Jameis is probably going to have a game where he pops off or where he just plays terrible. And that's kind of
probably.
Baker's going to have the same thing. So it's really just whose quarterback is going to show up to play. Or we're just going to have an offensive shootout, something like that. But I have a feeling Baker's not going to play too well. Saints are going to be kind of picking up a little bit. Jameis is still going to throw probably 2 interceptions, but he's probably going to have 3 touchdowns this week. So I'm going to go Saints 27-20.
Okay, there you go. I think this could be a Panthers game that could be very sneaky one. Like, this is a game the Panthers, it seems like, have no business in being in. But they've lost 9 in a row. They're probably going to make it 10 against a really tough defense. And until they start figuring out their offensive firepowers and strengths, because they've been really kind of all over the place so far. Get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, for goodness sakes, please, more and more often. But I think this defensive line for the Saints might really give them the absolute fit. So I'm going to go with the Saints as well, Joe.
Up on that one.
Yes, and I'm going to go 27-14. Saints win, lead the most of the game, and win. Against the Carolina Panthers. But next game, Raiders at Titans, Joe. This is a tough one.
Yes and no. I'm probably going to go Raiders. Titans are kind of in a situation where Derrick Henry's not playing as well as he has been from last year. And Ryan Tannehill is kind of a bum, not going to lie. So Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, they're just going to keep on connecting. Darren Waller had 17 points in fantasy last week. He's probably going to keep that rolling. And I just don't think the Titans defense is going to be able to pick that up. And the offense for the Titans isn't going to be able to replicate what the Raiders have, I don't think. So it's going to be Raiders 25-14.
25-14. Here's the thing. I had the utter faithfulness in the Vegas Raiders that I went out of my way to pick them as an upset for week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Went out of my way again in week 2, and they blew it to Arizona.
Not going to do it this week.
So why would I do it for the 3rd time in a row and just end up being disappointed again? It's just not going to be good for my self-esteem. However, this is Tennessee we're talking about. This team can't figure out anything far offensively.
They're so inconsistent.
Yeah, and I think the Raiders are due for a win. They're too good of a team to start 0-3, Joe. They're too good of a team. Canary, if you're out there listening, I have faith in you one more time, brother, but I promise you, if they lose this game, it's gone no more. I'm going against the Raiders the next 14 games of the year, but give me the Raiders. I know the score predictions are like way out there, like 2 scores. Maybe not so much. Here's what I'll tell you. Raiders 28, Titans 21. 1 score.
Sick.
Cool.
Doubling up on that one too.
Doubling up. Oh, we're going to make sure we make that not happen
not the case
for this
time,
one.
yeah.
Well, maybe not this game, though. Bengals traveling to New York to face the Jets. Bengals are 2-0 at losing games so far this season. I see what I did there. Against a Jets team that just figured out how to win a football game with a .00001 win percentage. So
Hey.
I don't know. This one might be tough in this one. But I think I'm going to go with, I don't actually know. I actually don't know. Joe, do you have a concrete pick here?
I'm going to go Jets.
Okay.
They're going to upset a little bit.
All right. Yeah.
You got Garrett Wilson. You got Joe Flacco, who's coming off a pretty good game. And you got Sauce Gardner, who's going to lock up Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, one of the two. So I think with those two, and you're kind of forced to throw to one for Joe Burrow, it's not going to be the best thing. Even though those are two very good receivers. I'm going to go Jets. I'm probably going to regret it, but I'm going to go Jets. Low scoring, actually. 14-10.
Okay, there you go. I like this. Good radio. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati in this one. I think this is going to be a better game than people think. This Bengals team defensively hasn't played. They've played good, but frankly, we just need to get Joe Burrow more time. And I think this offensive line is due for a game. So the Jets, overall, not a great pass rush. They got a couple guys there, Quinnen Williams, Quan Alexander, that can mix it up a little bit. But I think this Bengals team just needs a breakout game. This is a Super Bowl team from a year ago. They got to figure it out one of these times, right? Just got to happen. 2017 Bengals beat the Jets at MetLife. That's going to be tough. So next game, arguably game of the week. Honestly, they need to flex this to Sunday night. I don't care what the Giants and Cowboys have done. We need to make the Bills and Dolphins the Monday night game.
Dude,
My gracious.
Be good.
What a fantastic game this is.
I was talking to a friend earlier. It's like, he brought up a question. I don't think it's true, but he said, if the Dolphins beat the Bills, do you think Dolphins could be Super Bowl contenders?
Man, that's tough. I want to say that you put them in definitely the AFC Championship conversation.
Yeah, because if they are able to beat the Bills, who are consensus favorites to win the whole deal, if they beat them and they play well, then you gotta kind of have that conversation a little bit. I said no, mainly because Tua is so inconsistent. He's not gonna have another 40-point game this week, or a 40-point performance in fantasy. But if they do, you could see them going pretty far in the playoffs. I'd say probably definitely past first, second round.
Yeah. I would say you can make that argument for sure. I think the Dolphins are proving as a team that people can trust a little bit.
Yeah,
and I mean,
they're not as bad as they used to be.
No, not at all. Against the Bills, oh man, dude, this is tough for me because I love
such a good defense.
I love Buffalo's team so much, and I have for 3 years. What him and what Brian Dable was doing there, obviously when he was there, but I mean, still what they're doing offensively, the new coaching staff has been incredible. And this is the hard part for me is the Bills have played so freaking well. It almost seems like they're not going to mess up anytime soon, but they are. And it's like, what game is it going to be? This one, hypothetically, with the way their schedule is locked up, is probably the game that they do that. Mm-hmm. And that's tough for me because I really like what the Dolphins have done defensively as well. Now, then again, it took them a long time to get back into that game last week. But overall, I think what this game is going to come down to, I think it's just going to be the gunslinging ability of Allen and Tagovailoa. So I'm going to have to go with Buffalo in this one. Don't be surprised if Miami sneaks out this game. But I think this is going to be fun. Bills 35. Dolphins 31. 35-31. Bills squeak it out over the Miami Dolphins, Joe.
I'm going to say the Dolphins are going to win this one.
Yes,
I'm going to say Tua's going to have another good performance. I know I said it's probably unlikely, but I think he's going to have another good one. Waddle is going to be able to get Waddle and Tyreek. I was just about to say Devontae Smith, which was definitely not the right one, but Waddle and Tyreek are going to have good performance again. Not as crazy as they did last week, but it's still going to be enough to put them over the edge. It's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be like a 35-30 game. Dolphins take it.
There you go. Good picks. Anyway, moving on here faster. Eagles at Commanders. No hesitation for me with this one. Eagles give me on the road. Again, at Washington. Yeah. Washington didn't play very well last week against Detroit. I mean, we kind of let them back into that game. I think the Eagles' defense is better than people give them credit for, and Jalen Hurts has been balling. So I'm going to take the Eagles in this one to win on the road. I think that secondary plays really well against Carson Wentz, and I think Carson will throw 2 interceptions at least. And I think the Eagles will roll on the road. I'm going to say 38-28. Eagles beat the Washington Commanders.
I'm going to double dip as well, seeing that Detroit doesn't really have a secondary, and even though Carson Wentz struggled in the first half, and Eagles have a secondary that can really do some damage if he decides to air it out. And I think Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts. He's going to run all over him. So yeah, Eagles 27-10.
Okay, there you go. Speaking of Detroit, they're traveling to Minnesota.
Lions, baby.
And, of course, we have the blue Kool-Aid filter. We're going with Detroit automatically to go 17-0 this season as super fans. So we're taking the Lions. And here's why they could win this game, Joe. Vikings offense looked poor last week.
Not too great.
Philadelphia.
Dalvin Cook has not been looking the same.
He has not. He's gonna get back on track in this game.
You
know that for a fact.
Dalvin Cook against the Lions is basically just like he just turns it on to something crazy.
But the Vikings gave up quite a bit on the ground last week. And do you know DeAndre Swift in that Lions running back room leading the NFL right now in yards per carry and yards before contact with this offensive line that isn't even fully healthy yet, Joe. So we might be able to control this game a little bit and squeak one out at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. So we're going to take the Lions, of course. The score I see in this one, 30-28. I think it's got to be a field goal at the end or something. This is like be a fantastic game.
For sure.
Is that the same score you're going with?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Nice, good pick. Yes. Ravens at Patriots, Joe. Baltimore traveling on the road after the collapse last week. Do they get it on track against Bill Belichick's squad?
Yes.
Okay.
Mainly because I think they'll probably just, I don't know, the Patriots are not looking like, it's a little bit in between. Patriots are not looking super great, but they're not looking super bad. But I think just with Lamar and just like what he did, he's just going to keep that going. And he's honestly having a season where it looks like he's going to have a repeat of his MVP season. So I'm going to have to go Ravens. Lamar's going to pop off again. He's probably going to get 35-plus points in fantasy. Ravens 38 to the Patriots 21.
Good pick. I like Baltimore in this game despite Ed Gillette. I think Coach Harbaugh's crew, they're very resilient. They don't lose games back-to-back very often. So I'm going to take Baltimore to win this game. I think that the ground game gets it back on track. Patriots need weapons. They can't just do it with that overall game plan. We saw it did work last week, but the Ravens have much, much more talent than the Steelers. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to win this one 24-16 over the New England Patriots.
All right.
So there you go.
Next
game, 4 o'clock. Chargers hosting the Jaguars. Chargers as well.
Chargers 25-15.
Okay, Chargers 35-17. This Chargers offense is elite.
This one's just chalk.
Yeah, Jaguars played really well last week against the Colts, but
the Colts defense is nowhere near.
Yeah, no. The Chargers defense is legit, and they definitely need more credit. Herbert's going to ball out. They don't even need Keenan Allen, honestly, in this game. Mike Williams is going to do just enough, and I think that defensive secondary is going to show why they paid him the big bucks this week.
Next
game, big one. Green Bay at Tampa Bay. Battle of the Bays, 4:25 game on Fox. This is a fun one, Joe. Who do you want in this one?
I don't know, because here's the thing. If you asked me like the beginning of last week, if this game went on, I would have said Buccaneers. But Packers looked pretty well last week. They played pretty solid. I mean, Aaron Jones looked pretty solid. Like, he looked like he was just a ball out. 15 carries, 132 yards. Guy's insane. And Aaron Rodgers played really well. However, it is Tampa Bay, and it is Tom, and like they're just a good team all around. And I don't think that Tom's gonna. I mean, they're still undefeated, but they still have not been playing like they did last year. They're not playing like a team that like we recognize, especially with Tom Brady on it. So, with that being said, since it's at Tampa, I'm gonna go Tampa.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to take that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers to somehow steal this one in an absolute dogfight. It just doesn't make sense to me that they would be 1-2 on the year. It does make sense. But I think this is a classic game where too many things in the Buccaneers' favor in this game. The Pack did look good last week, and as much as crazy as I might hate it, I'm going to take the Packers in this one, and I'm going to take it 20-17 in a gritty game between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. But
I'm going to say like a 14-10 game. Tampa's going to take it. Going to go to 3-0.
Yeah, if you see both of, this is kind of where my mind's at. You can see the Bucs and the Packers being 2-1 through 3 games. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's
seeing the Packers 1-2, that's shocking, but it is possible though. Almost final 4:00 game. Rams at Cardinals. Oof, after last week,
Vision showdown.
This might be a lot closer of a game than we might think.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing, especially with the Rams and like their receiving core not having Odell, I think that just makes it so one-dimensional with what they can do with that, and especially seeing last week against Falcons, they didn't play super well. Falcons don't have the greatest team. They don't have the greatest defense either. And for the Rams to only put, I thought they were going to score more, to be honest, but to put 31 and to let up 27, I think that the Cardinals are going to probably put up a little bit more of a fight, especially seeing that they have a little bit more high-powered offense with Kyler on it, or Kyler leading that. So with that being said, Cardinals 27-20.
Okay, I'm going to play contrarian and go Rams. The Cardinals have lost their last 6 straight home games at home since moving to Arizona. That's yikes. So I'm going to be a little hesitant to pick them. The Cardinals' offensive line struggled, and I think this defensive line might exploit them. I'm going to take the Rams in this one, and I'm going to take them. Might be more high scoring than I want to say. I'm going to go 28-23. Rams beat the Cardinals. But going to be a good game for sure. Anyway, final 4:00 game. Falcons at Seahawks. As crazy as it might seem, I'm going to take Seattle, Joe. Don't know why.
Same thing. Gino's a bad man.
Yeah, Gino might just actually beat them. So I don't know. I could see 100 reasons why the Falcons win this game, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But
something about it. I just like Gino.
You got to play at Lumen Field. That's one of the hardest parts.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason
the
Broncos should have lost week 1.
Yeah,
but
I know.
They were flustered all night. So it just makes sense.
Marcus Mariota has been looking very, despite the 0-2 record, Marcus Mariota looks like he can lead this Falcons team to some success. I will say that. Putting up 27 points against the Rams is a pretty impressive thing, especially seeing against who the Rams have on their team for the defensive side. However, you're playing at a field that is literally like the most intimidating field to play in the NFL. It's there's basically earthquakes every game. So I think with that being said, Seahawks are going to take this one.
Yeah, I agree. Seahawks.
Low scoring.
Seahawks win 23-20 over the Falcons, and I think the reason why
7-14.
14-7. They get shut out. I think Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker break out in this one. They've been struggling so far this year. Penny had a good week 1.
Are you in the Seahawks?
Last week, yes. They didn't play as well last week. So I'm going to go Seattle 23-20 for the record. And Atlanta's defense has given up 4.8 rushing yards per play. So this is a good time for them to get back on track, especially on home turf in front of the 12th man. It just makes sense. Anyway, final picks here for the rest of week 3 real quick. Sunday night game, 49ers at the Broncos, Joe, on NBC. This is a really interesting game. Jimmy Garoppolo now under center for the Niners. Broncos haven't looked good. I'm going to be faithful one more time. Let's ride Broncos country. Give me the Broncos to get back on track. Defensively, they've been good. Offensively, it just needed to take time. Without Jerry Jeudy, it's going to be hard. But the 49ers are also banged up. We are probably going to see Kittle back, but this is going to be at Denver. So I'm going to take the Broncos as much as I don't want to beat the 49ers. And I think they will go to 2-1 on the season, courtesy of a 27-24 win. I don't know if I picked that score yet. If not 27-23, you can pick whichever one I probably haven't done yet, and that'll be the other one. So Broncos beat the Niners.
Respect. I'm not going to say that. Niners going to win this one.
All right, there you go.
I think Jimmy G is going to come back, especially with him kind of taking over the reins again. They're going to be playing pretty solid. Broncos literally have no idea what they're doing on the offensive side. They can't decide if it's going to be a run game, if it's going to be a pass. Russell Wilson can't decide if he wants to scramble or whatever, but he's got 2 of the better, it's just weird how you're not going to throw it to Judy and whatever his name is. I forget.
Cool. Like, you talking like KJ Hamler? We need KJ Hamler back
Well,
for the Broncos.
whatever
I
it
should
is,
say
I
we
forget his
pay.
name. It's their other receiver.
You talking Cortland Sutton?
That's what it is. I was gonna say
I was
Cordell
like,
or something.
I
But
thought you
mean,
said besides
yeah.
Cortland Sutton.
No,
I was
yeah,
like, huh?
it's Cortland Sutton and
It's
Jerry
not
Jeudy.
Judy
who,
or
if
it's Sutton.
If
yeah.
he just threw it to them, then they would have great success.
Yeah,
but
well,
he doesn't.
They need to stop committing penalties too.
Yeah,
They have
exactly.
25 penalties in 2 games.
They're not looking too solid.
They got to
so
figure that out.
I'm gonna go. Jimmy G's gonna lead him to win.
All right, there you go. Final game: Cowboys at Giants. As much as I want to pick the Giants, oh my gosh, why am I considering this whole scheme of events right now? I'm literally looking at a lot of the research that I did on this game beforehand, and it's just giving me this weird, like, I have no clue what to do because, like, it's like this is a no-brainer if Dak plays. In my mind, it's a no-brainer. Cowboys blow them out. But now with Cooper Rush there, it makes it more interesting. And that's just not because of, like, the fact that it's just a better quarterback, because Dak Prescott gives them the running ability, and the Giants have struggled outside the box against some of those teams.
Mm-hmm.
But this has got to be a slow game, and I'm just going to make a pure judgment call. No analysis needed. Giants can't win 3 in a row, right? It's impossible. I'm going to pick the Cowboys in this one to win this game in a very slow, sluggish game. 21-13 is the final. The Giants, they got Saquon Barkley, but against Dallas, I think that pass rush, that front 4, that front 7 is going to give them fits. Micah Parsons going to have a heyday to shut that down. And I think the offense does just enough with Zeke, Tony Pollard, and company for Cooper Rush to be 2-0 on the season. Wow, what a time to be alive for a Chippewa fan. So there you go.
Yeah, Danny Dimes gonna lead this one to a victory.
Oh my goodness.
Giants are gonna be 3-0. Saquon's gonna tear it up a little
No, it
bit.
can't
That's the thing.
happen,
That's the
right?
thing.
It
if
can't.
it was Dak, I would say Cowboys all day. But it's Cooper Rush.
Sure.
So
Cooper
I just
Rush
don't.
also won a game this last week against Joe Burr.
Yeah,
Against
but,
Joe Burr.
But against the Bengals defense, who kind of wasn't doing as well as they were last year. Like it's a little bit of both. Giants are gonna win this one. It's gonna be mainly Saquon who's gonna be doing the deal. He's probably gonna pop off in fantasy this week. He's gonna have 3 touchdowns.
Ooh,
Calling it.
good night.
So I'm gonna say 27-14. Giants win it.
All right, there you go. Those are our picks. Don't bet on them unless you win. Of course, then you can bet on our picks. Just kidding. Please don't. We don't promote gambling on this show.
I don't promote gambling either, but pick on our picks.
Oh, yeah. We know what we're talking about. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe on the MVSP on all of our podcast platforms, which, sneak peek, there's more of them coming. Oh, I shouldn't say so many. But you can stay tuned for that, as well as follow along on YouTube, and you can find that all in the link in our bios on our social media and our podcast platforms to find the link tree or your one-stop shop to find all of our show information, Joe.
For sure.
It is. Anyway.
Take care, everybody.